For 3 decades, MLS teams made do with borrowed stadiums and awkward compromises. That era ends now. Right now, across 7 American cities, billions of dollars are being poured into soccer-specific venues that rival anything in Europe. We're talking about privately funded projects from Miami to Boston, architecturally stunning designs that have already caught UNESCO's attention, and owners betting their own fortunes that American soccer is ready for the big time. By 2028, the league will be unrecognizable. Here's what's coming. David Beckham promised Miami fans a world-class stadium when he announced his MLS team back in 2014. But for 10 years, nothing happened because every proposed location fell through. The team had to start playing in Fort Lauderdale, while Beckham kept searching for the perfect Miami site. Everything changed when the City Commission finally approved the project in April 2022, and Messi's arrival in 2023 added even more excitement. Now, Miami Freedom Park is rising on 131 acres right next to Miami International Airport. This isn't just a soccer stadium though, it's an entire entertainment district that will be open year-round even when there's no match happening. The 25,000-seat stadium will feature the largest tensile canopy roof in all of MLS, designed to provide shade from the brutal Miami heat, while creating an intimate atmosphere that brings fans incredibly close to the action. There's also a glass-walled tunnel club, where supporters can watch players walk from the locker room to the pitch just feet away, which is something you don't see at most stadiums anywhere in the world. Surrounding the stadium, you'll find a 58-acre public park that becomes the largest new public park in Miami, along with Tiger Woods-backed mini-golf, adventure zip lines, immersive entertainment experiences, over 1 million square feet of restaurants and shops, and 750 hotel rooms for visitors. Opening day is set for April 4th, 2026, when Inter Miami hosts Austin FC, and Messi has already signed a contract extension through 2028, so he'll definitely be leading his team into their new home. The timing works out perfectly since the World Cup arrives in America that same summer, meaning global attention will already be focused on soccer in the United States. The entire project costs over $1 billion and is privately funded, with the state contributing $8 million for surrounding road infrastructure. This finally delivers on the promise Beckham made more than a decade ago. New York City FC has spent 10 years playing at Yankee Stadium, which is a baseball field where soccer lines get painted over the infield dirt, and the pitch measures just 110 by 70 yards, making it the smallest field in all of Major League Soccer. The club searched for a permanent home across 24 different sites throughout the city, but every single proposal fell through until they finally found the perfect location in Queens. The site they chose is called Willets Point, a former industrial wasteland filled with junkyards. For decades, this area sat forgotten and neglected, but now it's being transformed into America's first fully electric professional sports stadium. The first thing you'll notice is the Cube. This 7-story tower dominates the entrance, its entire facade covered in 11,000 square feet of LED screens that pulse with videos, digital artwork, and color. Think of it as the Las Vegas Sphere standing vertical, a glowing beacon you can spot from miles away. But as impressive as the Cube is, the most revolutionary technology is actually invisible. Solar panels blanket the entire roof, generating all the electricity the stadium needs to operate. Underground, beneath the pitch itself, an advanced rainwater collection system captures rainfall and stores it for irrigation. Inside, the 25,000-seat venue is built for atmosphere. The supporters section packs in 3,400 fans at the steepest angle permitted in MLS, designed specifically to amplify noise and create a thunderous wall of sound that crashes down onto the field. Premium ticket holders get something even more intimate, access to the Tunnel Club, where they stand in the same corridor as the players, watching them walk from the locker room through the tunnel and onto the pitch. Construction broke ground in December 2024, with the $780 million project scheduled to open early in 2027. And since it sits right next to Citi Field and the US Open Tennis Center, Queens will become one of the most impressive sports districts anywhere in the country. In a city where sports team owners constantly ask taxpayers for hundreds of millions of dollars, Chicago Fire owner Joe Mansueto did something almost unheard of. He announced he would pay for his new stadium entirely by himself. The Fire have struggled with their home situation for years, bouncing between the massive Soldier Field, where crowds look tiny in 61,000 seats, and a suburban stadium in Bridgeview that nobody wanted to drive to. Mansueto was so desperate to escape Bridgeview that he paid $65.5 million just to break the lease. He found his solution at The 78, a 62-acre former rail yard along the Chicago River that's being transformed into Chicago's 78th official neighborhood. Major developers, including Amazon, had looked at this site for years without ever building anything, but Mansueto saw the perfect opportunity for a downtown soccer stadium. The $750 million venue seats 22,000 fans and pays homage to Chicago's industrial roots. Red brick facades echo the historic warehouses lining the river, while exposed steel and glass honor the city's architectural legacy. But here's what makes this stadium truly special: water taxi access. The Chicago River runs right past the entrance, meaning fans can literally take a boat to the match and step off at the venue, something you can't do anywhere else in America. Inside, the stadium features the highest ratio of premium seating in MLS at 22%, including 50 luxury suites and 3,500 club seats. The bowl is designed with seating dramatically lower and closer to the action, while an exposed steel canopy directs light and noise back onto the pitch to amplify the atmosphere. There's also a dedicated 2,000 capacity supporters section with safe standing bleachers. City Council approved the project unanimously in September 2025, with construction beginning in early 2026 and the stadium opening in 2028. MLS Commissioner Don Garber called it one of the most ambitious stadium projects in Major League Soccer history, finally bringing the Fire a world-class home in the heart of downtown Chicago. Charlotte FC proved they belonged in Major League Soccer on their very first home match in March 2022, when 74,479 fans packed Bank of America Stadium, setting an all-time MLS record for regular season attendance that still stands today. The crowd was so massive and so loud that it sent a clear message about how much this city loves soccer. The stadium itself was built for NFL football back in 1996, and it's nearly 30 years old now, so Charlotte is investing $800 million to completely transform the venue into something worthy of that incredible fan support. Construction runs from 2026 through 2030, with the stadium staying open throughout for both Panthers and Charlotte FC games. Every single seat in the bowl will be replaced with new ones, and fans will enjoy a reimagined 500-level patio offering stunning panoramic views of the Charlotte skyline. The renovation includes state-of-the-art video boards and sound systems throughout the venue, plus exterior LED screens that let fans watch from outside during sold-out matches. What makes this deal truly special is the commitment attached to it, because both the Carolina Panthers and Charlotte FC have agreed to stay in Charlotte through 2045. That's 20 years of guaranteed stability in an era when professional sports teams constantly threaten to relocate unless they get new stadiums. And it shows that Charlotte is serious about being a long-term soccer city. The stadium already generates over $1.1 billion in annual economic impact for the region, with 9 of the 10 busiest days in Uptown Charlotte being stadium event days. And this renovation ensures that continues for another generation. The New England Revolution have been playing in the league since 1996, making them one of the 10 original MLS teams, yet they remain the only founding club that still doesn't have their own soccer-specific stadium. For almost 30 years, they've been tenants at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, a 65,000-seat NFL venue located 40 minutes from downtown Boston with barely any public transit access. That's finally about to change because the Kraft family, who owns both the Patriots and Revolution, reached agreements with Boston and Everett in late 2024 to build a proper 25,000-seat soccer stadium along the Mystic River waterfront. The site they chose is a former power plant called the Mystic Generating Station that operated from 1943 until 2017 and left behind 43 acres of contaminated industrial land. Transforming this into a soccer stadium requires about $80 million in environmental cleanup before construction even begins. But once complete, it gives the Revolution something they've never had: a Boston area location with real subway access and plans for water taxi service. The stadium will be surrounded by a 4-acre public park that finally opens the Mystic River waterfront to residents who have been blocked from accessing it for decades. The park will include a waterfront pedestrian and bicycle path, creating new recreational space in a historically industrial area. The entire project is privately funded at over $500 million, with permitting expected to take about 18 months before construction begins. If everything stays on track, the Revolution could finally have a true home by 2028 or 2029, ending the longest stadium search in MLS history. Toyota Stadium was only the third soccer-specific venue ever built in MLS when it opened back in 2005. Constructed in the middle of Texas prairie that everyone thought was crazy until that prairie became downtown Frisco, one of America's fastest-growing cities. The stadium helped prove that soccer could anchor major development, but after 20 years, it desperately needs modernization. The $182 million renovation addresses the two biggest complaints fans have had for years. First, a dramatic new roof structure will finally provide shade for the majority of seats, which is absolutely critical when Texas summer temperatures regularly exceed 100 degrees. Second, a brand new 6,000 square foot video board becomes the largest in any soccer-specific MLS stadium. Overall capacity expands to 22,500 with club seating increasing by 175%, and suite capacity jumping 58%, giving fans significantly more premium options than before. The venue is also getting completely redesigned entrances on the north, east, and west sides to improve how people flow in and out of the stadium. Construction started in early 2025 and proceeds in phases so FC Dallas can keep playing home matches throughout the renovation. The east side gets rebuilt first with completion by summer 2026, then the west side follows, and the entire project wraps up by early 2028. FC Dallas has signed a lease extension keeping them in Frisco through 2057, continuing the bet that the Hunt family made on this city when nobody else believed in it. In 2017, St. Louis voters rejected public funding for an MLS stadium by 53 to 47%. The governor called stadium subsidies welfare for millionaires, and everyone assumed professional soccer was dead in the city. Then the Taylor family, owners of Enterprise Rent-A-Car, did something almost unheard of. They announced they would build the entire stadium with private money, not a single taxpayer dollar. When Energizer Park opened in November 2022, it immediately set the standard every stadium we've discussed is now following. That's why we're including it. The $461 million venue seats 22,500 fans with one of the steepest bowls in MLS, putting every fan within 120 feet of the pitch. A 311-foot canopy stretches overhead without a single support column, while a 65-foot vertical screen, the largest in MLS, towers over the entrance. What makes this truly revolutionary is its location. The site sits on Mill Creek Valley, a thriving black neighborhood demolished in the 1950s when 20,000 residents were forcibly displaced. Rather than burying this painful history, artist Damon Davis created Pillars of the Valley, a permanent monument honoring the lost community. The landscaping matches the original property lines with plaques displaying former home addresses, history literally built into the ground. Inside, a 3,100 capacity supporters section is engineered to amplify every chant. The atmosphere became so electric that St. Louis City SC made history as the first expansion team to win their conference during their inaugural season while selling out 34 consecutive matches. The results? $168 million generated in year one, over $820 million invested in the surrounding district, and UNESCO naming it one of the world's most beautiful sports venues. St. Louis proved that privately financed stadiums can be world-class while confronting difficult history. Every project we've shown you is following their blueprint. St. Louis proved the blueprint works. Now, 7 more cities are following it. Which stadium do you think will have the biggest impact on the league? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe and hit that like button for more content.